Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the Managing Director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing the notion of Bangkok gaining quote-unquote sandbox status. What is sandbox status? Well, this was discussed in phase 3 of this plan they're implementing to reduce quarantines and sort of slowly lift quarantine in Thailand. And basically, from October onward, this has been the discussion. Again, none of this has been like implemented or set in stone. So, take all of this as kind of fluid. But long story short, the sandbox notion is there are areas where tourists can come in without the need to quarantine, and then they just sort of stay in these areas so that, it's to improve tourism, but then they also apparently are trying to keep them in these geographic regions or zones. How exactly that's going to work from a practical standpoint remains to be seen. That said, a recent article from Bangkok Post print edition, and this article was from the Bangkok Post Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Article is titled, "Operators Call for Sandbox Scheme to Include Bangkok." And since the inception of the discussion of Phuket going to basically sort of a quarantine-free kind of status beginning in July. That's the discussion underway right now. And again, it's not implemented. We haven't seen this set in stone, and we've seen things change throughout this past year with respect to this COVID response. So again, take certain things that are said with a grain of salt. But I had always kind of thought, look, I don't know how one area of the country will be allowed to sort of have tourists everywhere, and then other areas of the country won't be able to have that. I would kind of see where you'd have some political blowback from that, if nothing else. But in any event, again, from Bangkok Post and quoting directly from this article, which again is, "Operators Call for Sandbox Scheme to Include Bangkok." Quoting directly, "Bangkok should be included in the tourism sandbox scheme for October that allows vaccinated visitors to enter without quarantine, or else Thailand will miss its goal of 6.5 million foreign tourists this year, say tourism operators." Wichit Prakobgoson, Vice President of the Tourism Council of Thailand, said Bangkok is a strategic tourism hub as 90% of tourists who visit Pattaya have to start in the capital. Quoting further, TCT predicted the number of tourists visiting those 6 destinations, and we've discussed this at length. There are 6 destinations: Koh Samui, Krabi, Phang Nga, Pattaya, and Chiang Mai. And they've also discussed Phuket as well. Again, quoting again, TCT predicted the number of tourists visiting those 6 destinations to total 3 million, contributing 156 billion baht, of which 2 million tourists generating 105 billion will come from Phuket. And again, I'm always a little bit hesitant. It's kind of like, as we would say back home, counting your chickens before they hatch. We haven't seen these tourists show up. We haven't seen this money come in. We haven't seen these plans actually implemented. A lot of this is speculation on the part of government officials or people in the tourism space. But the thing that I find interesting is, the feasibility of allowing one region to sort of be open for business for tourism while having another region of the country that just isn't. And, I'm not going to get into why they're doing that. I don't know, frankly. But it does seem odd, and it does seem like something that could cause some political strife, or strife's the wrong word, some political disagreement with respect to people from these different regions. I can see people in the tourism space in Bangkok saying, hey, why is Phuket seemingly reaping a windfall in tourism, and Pattaya and Bangkok are kind of left in the cold? I can see that being discussed. Again, how this plays out remains to be seen, but it would not shock me to see Bangkok being placed in this sandbox, sort of given this sandbox label as well, sometime sooner rather than later.